Welcome to another episode of the City Boy Show. I'm Javier. This is Danny.
What is up?
What is going on? Yeah.
Sad.
I'm tired of these intros starting off sad.
I know. It's nice when we win and we're hyped.
I know. It's been too long since that's happened.
I know.
You know what was the last time we were hyped? Noche de Dior, and that was like 3 months ago. Yeah, and then nobody was actually like nobody did we do
an episode?
Yeah,
afterwards?
no,
I don't think so. No,
it's been a while, bro.
It has been a while. I miss winning,
but it was a great day.
It was a great day.
It was a great start to that whole day. We met some fans of the team. It was fun.
I think the vibes were high. I think for being on an 0-2 record at that point, people were hyped to be there. We gave out stickers. We were at stands. Kind of what do you call it? Stood up there. What's the phrase I'm looking for?
I have no idea.
Whatever. We were
about.
chilling at stands. People came up to us, asked us for stickers. We had some really good conversations with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone who made it out there. And the march looked fire. Saw a lot of the footage. It was really cool.
Yeah.
We kind of caught the tail end of it. And it was just nice to see everyone, all the media people that we usually work with. Shout out to the Post 90, Blue Balls, Forever, all of them. It was just cool to see everybody.
Yeah. It started off really cool.
Oh, we saw Maxi in the elevator, which was cool.
Yes, let's do this story. So if you guys don't know, we have Maxi stickers.
Yes.
And we were giving them out before the game. Maxi liked our video on Instagram and he seemed like cool, like, oh, these stickers look cool. Didn't know he was actually going to get them. And then so we're giving out a sticker going upstairs to the press conference, the press box. And then when the elevator doors open, it's Maxi Morales right there.
It was crazy.
And we gave him the sticker and he was like looking at it, and then he looked back up and he was like super grateful. It was really cool, man.
It was awesome. I've never seen someone so happy about stickers.
I know. I think we were the first ones. We popped this cherry sticker, bro. I don't think that guy's ever received a sticker in his life. And then it was of him. He's like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Really appreciated how appreciative he was of those stickers. What a nice guy, man.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
That was cool.
Very cool times. So that was cool. But then everything else happened.
Well, I mean, the vibes were high for the first 45 minutes of the game, too.
No, I know. And so I wanted to say this because they had a tifo. Like, I feel like there's a connotation, NYCFC fans are negative or they're being negative in this. But it's not, the tifo said redemption starts today. We accept it. We lost those last 2 games, right? And it was time to come back and really put on a performance. And we did for only 45 minutes. That was the problem. But let's get into the game.
Okay. So let's maybe start with the lineup here. The lineup was an interesting choice. So we had Freeset at keeper. On the back line, O'Toole, Risa, Martins, and Lenik. And then on midfield, we had Pereira and Parks. And then we had Wolf, Santi, Jason, and Bakra. What was your thoughts when you first saw that lineup?
It was surprising to see Jason. I was a little shocked by that. But you know what? Jason's like a net positive. I don't know why, but he always brings like something that we're missing that just gets the game going. And 2 minutes into the game, you saw that. He had a shot on goal 2 minutes into the game, and we've been struggling with shots on goal all season.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think Jason was a net positive.
I agree. I was actually a little shocked myself. I was like, wow, how is it that we have so much talent on the wings and so much depth, and Jason's getting a start? But man, he just hustles so much on defense. He plays well on offense, and I like that there, especially during the first half, there was a lot of like one-touch passing, and he was one of the big facilitators of that. And so I really, man, it's good to see Jason do well.
Yeah, you just want to root for Jason.
Exactly.
And I get it. People will say he doesn't have the most talent. The dude makes plays out there. And we had replacement refs. You knew he was going to get some fouls, and he got some of those foul calls.
He really did. I was really betting on 5 red cards that game. It didn't happen, but it could have gone down that route.
Yeah, so that was the only, I guess, shocking thing. Everything else was pretty standard in the lineup. Would you say the same?
Yeah, very Cushing. I love how Cushing just can't have the consistent lineup, bro. He's like, nah, we throwing in Jason in there. We're gonna do something crazy.
You couldn't technically have Sands was gone, so there was no way you could have had the same lineup.
I know, but Jason, I just think it's funny, bro. I just think it's like he's gonna make sure the lineup's not consistent ever.
So we talked about the first 45 minutes being like, look, we played attacking football. Let's just look at the stats of this first 45 minutes. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong stat. But let's look at the stats. So overall, we had 9 total shots that first half. 4 shots on target, 4 big chances. And yeah, they had more possession, but it did not matter. We were completely dominating.
Yeah, but you know what the big call out here is from that first half, though?
What?
4 big chances missed. And I think that is a good point that we need to talk about in this grand scheme of things. I thought we played so well offensively, but there were so many opportunities that Bakra didn't convert, that Wolf had that really good volley that I thought he could have scored, and that ended up being our downfall really at the end of it. I mean, a few things came up being our downfall, but I think there's going to probably be some conversation of like whose fault is it that we lost this game, and I do think we should put some of this on the players because there was a lot of missed opportunities in that first half. Like it seemed like a great half because we were up 1-0 at the half, but at the same time, it should have been 2-0, 3-0, and it wasn't.
And I think so Keaton after the game mentioned that like we have a bunch of young guys who still don't really know how to win yet. And it seems like anytime we're up 1-0, we don't put a foot to the pedal. Like we start backing up, we start not having that intensity that we should have. And going into that second half, I wouldn't say it's fully on the players because if we go into that second half, we had some more defensive substitutions, which then put the brakes on the players anyways. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, if you're reinforcing it with certain substitutions, then that's not helpful either. But yes, I agree. Muntzev needs to finish those chances.
I know, man.
It's like if you're gonna be the guy, be the guy. You know what I mean? And right now, he puts himself in great positions. That's the thing. He puts himself in solid positions. He wins one-on-one battles all the time, and he's very physical, and that's what we need. But he cannot finish right now, and I don't know if it's just getting used to MLS, but all you got to do is finish. You've set yourself with everything else. And Santi was having a tremendous game. Santi was dishing the ball left and right, and everybody had an opportunity out there.
Agreed. I thought Santi had one of the best 45 minutes he's ever had. My man, not only was he was like the 10 we always hoped he would be. Yeah. Right? He was just like, I felt like a different type of play where they weren't hesitating to find what to do on offense. They were out there and they just knew where their teammates were, and I loved the one-touch passing. They got the ball, they just knew who to send it to. You could tell that Portland's defense was lost. And then we're like, look at all this offensive power. We don't know who to defend. And I thought they did such a good job there. And I agree. Muntzev really kind of dropped the ball. First of all, I don't know how many offsides calls he had. We should have looked up that stat. But at the same time, even the goal that was called offside, I could not believe how many times he touched that ball. Like, the net was wide open, and he was like, nah, let me wait till the goalkeeper comes back, and then I'm going to take a shot. Yeah. I had a heart attack. If he would have missed that, I mean, it was called offside, so it didn't matter, but if he would have missed that, I would have just been even more furious today.
Yeah, have you seen the conversations that's happening with these offsides? That there might be some reason to believe that Apple TV is purposely not showing replays of offsides calls, so the refs don't seem very controversial in their calls and stuff. So if you looked at it, that one that Muntzev scored, there was no replay of the Muntzev goal. And at first glance, it looks like it's offsides because Burke Risa really just longs ball at 35 yards away to Muntzev. But there was no replay to verify that was true. So all we have to do is base it on like VAR checked it. But with no replays, nobody can question if that was close, if it wasn't. So there's been some talks, and I don't know how true it is, but that VAR is, that they're purposely not showing replays.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, on that note, talking to you, MLS. Get your shit together, homie. I learned more about the strike, and my understanding is that it would cost each team $100,000 extra a year to give the refs everything they want. The average MLS team is worth $700 million, and you guys are fighting about $100K. I think the only reason MLS hasn't completely given in to these demands is because MLS just doesn't get enough attention.
Or heat, right?
Exactly.
Who's covering MLS? MLS is covering MLS.
Exactly.
And then all the independent media. No outside real organizations are. You're not getting the New York Times. You're not getting these big organizations who will be like, look, we have a problem here and we're calling you out. And then it becomes national news, right?
Exactly. And I'm saying, for the bigger group that is not MLS and you don't care about soccer, this is a union thing, man. This is a big company versus small union. I think we gotta back this up more and be like, yo, enough is enough. First of all, it's affecting the quality of play, which affects us as soccer fans.
Yeah.
But also in general, I think people are pretty open to unions and what's going on there. And we need to see this as a bigger union versus big greedy company who it's $100,000. Do you know what the average salary is of a ref?
What?
For MLS? $20K.
No way.
$20K, homie.
So
That's
they have
insane.
outside jobs out of this.
And and they're asking for 25%, which is what, an extra $5,000?
That's crazy.
That's insane. Go fix this, guys. Come on.
All right. Good.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
a good rant. That's a good rant. I appreciate that rant. Usually you rant about dumb things like Jason Kelsey. This was a good one. So I'm okay with this. Yeah, but so dominated the first half.
Dominated the first half.
Yes, we had our woes, but at least we were getting dangerous. We were getting into the final third. We were putting plays in position where we were actually getting big chances. And then the second half happened.
The second half happened.
And so let's look at second half stats. So second half stats, it's just terrible. We didn't play our game. We had 35 possession. What is that?
35%.
Yeah, 35% possession. We only had two shots versus their 5. 2 shots on target versus their 3. But they just had way bigger chances. And they felt like they were in control that whole second half.
It felt like we came out of that halftime and said, let's just defend the lead. Let's just make sure we don't lose this game. Let's not score more goals. And the question was asked by Footy Banter, did you go out of, there was a game plan, was a tactics to go and play more defensively the second half? And Cushing said, no. I told him, keep pushing. I did not change tactics. They decided to go more defensively, which I don't understand how that's possible to say we didn't decide to be more defensive, but then the first substitution was
Justin Hack.
Justin Hack for Jason.
Yeah, I know. That I agree with. The one thing I will say is I don't feel like we weren't doing anything offensively before anyways. You get me? We weren't even holding possession before Justin got subbed in. So he got subbed in the 67th minute, right?
Yes.
Bro, for 27 minutes, 20 minutes, we didn't hold the ball. We didn't do anything with the ball. So even though I did feel like it was a defensive substitution, it still felt like I don't think that's really what affected us as much. Not giving Cushing deserves the blame still, regardless. But it didn't feel as defensive as I think you make it seem.
I mean, I just think
because then you had Julian come in, then you had Jovan come in, and then you had Tavon.
But you had Julian come in for Wolf, and Wolf was having the game of his life, the best game he's had so far, and so a little strange to take out a player that's playing so well. But maybe he's not at form, right? Maybe he can't play the full 90 minutes, and maybe the reason they couldn't hold possession was because he was tired. Okay, but it's a like-for-like player. And then you got you said Jovan for Bakra. Yeah. Okay, it's a striker for a striker. You know what I mean? But Jason for Hack is an offensive player that has been exchanged for a defensive player. So it's different. And then you know what they did? If you notice, Pereira was playing really far up. And so Pereira, who's usually a box-to-box guy, was unable to like kind of go that far back on defense because he's next to the goal trying to feed Hovan. It was interesting. I just think, if you're gonna try to score a second goal, you don't go and put in Hack. You put in someone like Trapito. You put in I don't know, anybody else, honestly. Like just an attacking player. Yeah. I think, and he says we brought in Hack to control the ball more. I didn't see that. Yeah. And I don't really understand the logic on how putting a defensive midfielder helps you control the ball more.
Well, I think his reasoning is like when you think about James Sands playing that, right? He can get from the back line to the midfield and really facilitate to Parks, but and move the ball around. Does Hack really bring that? I don't really know. He's more of a defensive mid. So, I mean, even though James Sands is too, but James Sands is James Sands. You know what I mean? It's a different type of player. Yeah. I agree that I don't think it was his best substitution. Why put in Justin Hack there? I don't agree with that, but I don't think it affected as much. I felt like it was more on the players. Like, I just don't know how you lack the intensity in that second half to really come back, and I don't know. I just felt like they could have been doing more, and they just stop putting pressure and stop really winning the ball and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but I do think, they put a lot of pressure. They did play a very strong press that first half.
Yeah.
And so I can see them getting exhausted. And so I think that is where you decide to make more substitutions. Did he use all his substitutions too?
Yeah, he didn't.
And it's like...
And I probably would have subbed them out earlier too.
Agreed.
Like Santi, I think, was getting gassed towards that end of the game. Even though Santi was having a great game, he gave it all out for 45 minutes. I think at that point, get a sub and get more fresh offensive players if you still want to be attacking.
Yeah, if you would have taken Santi out of the game earlier and they would have scored, I think we would have lost our minds. So I don't know if I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, you had enough substitutions to do more work. And I really didn't love the Hack for Jason's substitution.
So just to wrap what happens next, Anthony scores in the 87th minute, ties it. And we're like, whatever, we're leaving with a tie. It is what it is.
Yes.
And then stoppage time, this guy scores an absolute golazo. Evander, it was crazy.
It was a beautiful goal.
It was. Even though there's no defenders, like, how did you give him that much space?
I know. It was a deep goal, though.
No, it was a beauty. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a beauty.
So did you see what CBS News did?
No, what did they do?
Yo, these major outlets. So I'm pretty sure ChatGPT wrote their article. They think Evander's last name is Golasso. So I guess at Portland Timbers wrote somewhere on their website, Evander hits a Golasso goal. They're like, Golasso scores in the stoppage time. It is the worst thing ever, bro. And this is why soccer does not get taken serious in America. Europeans are like, these guys are idiots. So, it was bad. They were literally they thought his name was Evander Golasso. You know, it's like those Brazilians who have one name. I'm pretty sure this is his situation where he has like basically one name and that's his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
That's hilarious. Mr. Golasso, what'd you think of that?
Mr. Golasso plays for every team then. It's so bad that they did that, man.
Wow. Get some writers, homie. That's terrible. But I agree with you. Well, another thing too, the game kept going on. Like, I think what threw me off too was that goal was scored on the 98th minute. And I was like, yo, why is this game still happening? So I do think that everyone was waiting
trying to make overtime pay, bro.
They were, bro.
They
were adding mad stoppage time.
Yeah, imagine the replacement refs are making like 10K if the other guys were making 20.
That's a good point. But yeah, so I thought like they were like, well, the game's over. So I felt like they weren't playing as hard defense. But great, you got to play to the whistle blows. But what a goal, man. How much heartbreak that caused.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Right after that goal, that stadium went like numb, bro. So you can hear from the press box, there's this fan right below us, and he was just ranting, going off. This isn't right. He was just ranting. He went so hard on this thing.
I know.
And you heard the Cushing chants out. Cushing even admitted he heard the Cushing out chants. He says it hurts, but what can I do about it? You know what I mean? That all I can say is I'm going to
win games though. That's what you could do.
Very good point. And another thing that I felt like I wanted to ask Cushing this, but like, how do you keep these young players accountable? And I will say, right, so in that press conference, I think this is the most honest Cushing's ever been. Doesn't mean honesty means well, he shouldn't lose his job. Like, he's doing the right job. He's doing his job correctly. No. But he finally was honest, I felt like, so we weren't getting a generic answer. And he was like, look, if there's 3-4 guys in this locker room who stop believing me, stop believing in my tactics, stop believing in my coaching, I'm done. But as long as these guys believe in me, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, are we sure that the team believes in him?
So we got mixed. Parks. Let's talk about Parks' response.
Yes.
Parks was frustrated. He cursed a couple of times, and he said, like, we have a young team, doesn't know how to win, and we need to grind out these wins. I'm paraphrasing.
And that sounded like he was being responsible, making the players responsible.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to add Cushing. How are you going to make the players responsible? But then I had the whole thing about I wanted to make sure how do you feel accountable? So I had 2 questions in mind, but I only could ask one.
Yeah.
So I went with the accountability. How much do you take accountability? And he said 100%. It's all on me.
I think, though, can we talk about that for a second?
Okay, go.
Because
I'm going on.
He said, I'm 150,000% accountable for what's happening out there.
Yeah.
But like 5 questions earlier, he goes, in a way, he blamed having a young squad for the reason we're losing, right? He said, like we have, this is growing pains. We have a bunch of 21, 22, 23-year-olds out there who are still learning how to win. And my job is to make them great players so they succeed when they're 24, 25, 26. Those are the words. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he used those ages.
Yeah.
And so our average age of this team is 23 years old.
Bro.
So kind of what I'm getting.
Go, keep going.
Sorry.
I was going to make a joke.
So what I'm getting out of this is like, this team is too young for me to win, which to me sounds like an excuse a little bit. And I agree, you need some veteran leadership to be a championship team. But how do you say I'm 150% accountable, but then 3 questions later said, in a way, this team is too young, and so we need patience?
But I think there's a little bit of truth to both, right? I think he is accountable. Questionable substitutions. We've been talking about this the past 3 games, right? Oh, I think his whole career, everybody's been doubting his substitutions. And not,
Yes.
I mean, not per se me, but other fans.
Yes.
But there is truth. This team is young. Average age is 23 years old. You know how bad their car insurance must be? Dude, they're paying so much. You think they can worry about the game? They're just worrying about paying that car insurance.
Especially that Bronx car insurance. That shit gets expensive, bro.
That's why they all live in Jersey, bro.
But they all got Florida license plates.
All right, back to the point, though. No. All right, focus, Javi. So there is some truth to that, but yes, I agree. But I think when we talked to Brad Sims, it felt like, he said he had a championship caliber team, but he also saw these people being the future of the opening of the stadium.
So he was like, yeah, we got championship team in 2027.
But it's not an excuse. I mean, it's still, I think even with these players, even with them being young, we shouldn't be 0-3 right now, especially when we had a home opener.
Exactly.
And especially when it's not even just this season. This is going back into last season, where even with that team being young, we should have still been a playoff team.
Agreed.
So I don't know. And let's go back to the Parks comic. Park basically said, they asked him about Wolf and like, how do you think he played? And he said he played great. And then he said, I don't know why they took him out early. Or what did he say? I'm paraphrasing.
I wish he would have stayed in the game longer.
Yes, I wish he would have stayed in the game longer. Which, do you think that's questioning Nick Cushing?
A little bit. I'm going to sneeze.
This episode's a mess. Allergies.
Yeah, I do think he was saying, why did we take him out the game? And I agree. Like, you keep the players on the pitch that are giving you the best performance.
Yeah.
And he was one of them. So maybe you should have switched out Julian for Jason, not put in Hack.
Yeah.
So I think he did, but I'm glad that he was holding the players and the coach accountable. And I really appreciated Parks being so upset. I think this team, especially this team, is like super media trained, and like their responses, you typically do not feel authentic at all. And to see Parks, who is in a way a veteran of this team, to see him get upset, I think is really important because it shows that he cares about the team. He cares about winning. And I like that he's putting all those people in their place.
I agree. And you know what? Another person who's kind of been a leader of this squad is not a leader per se, but he's still been the most veteran here, Tavon Gray. We talked to him after the game. He's like, look, we're 3 games in. It's still really early in the season. We're going to figure this out. And but yes, I agree. You still want those Park comments because somebody's got to call him out. And that's what I don't know how Cushing handles it off the field. If he goes to these guys and be like, that wasn't enough. Like, you need to play harder. Like, this doesn't work. And I don't know if he's putting that pressure on those players. Like, once they have a performance like they did, to really put them in their place and be like, this isn't going to happen again, or you're not going to be on the starting 11.
Agreed. I think he does. I mean, if you think about what happened with Talis Magno last year, dude was a superstar for not just the team, but for the MLS as a whole. And he benched that guy for a long time. So I do think he does hold the players accountable. And that's unfortunately why we got people like Pellegrini getting so many starts, because they worked their ass off in the practice pitch, but also didn't translate. So I think he's doing some of it, but agreed, I don't think he's doing enough to inspire these players, because then I think we'd be seeing this better play from the team.
And this just goes into our schedule, which is a brutal schedule if you really think about it. Look, we play Toronto. That could be a winnable game, but they haven't lost the game. Then we go to Cincinnati. So let's say we're not winning that, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, best case scenario, we pick up 3 points against Toronto. Now we go to Miami, and we're probably not winning that, right? So we're leaving the end
and then we're playing Atlanta, which is also a great
which
team.
is at least at home, but Atlanta's playing... is Atlanta first right now? No, Atlanta's ninth. Well, they have 3 points, but they're not an easy team. We just saw them win 4-0 against a pretty good team. So we could be leaving the end of March with only 3 points. That is bad.
That is scary.
That is scary. And what does that mean for this team making the playoffs?
Well, I think for March, I think it's too early to talk about playoffs, only because like 90% of the teams make it to the playoffs. Even though we didn't make it last year, I think it's more concerning is like what happens to Cushing. I mean, concerning to Cushing, maybe not concerning to anybody else, but like, does he keep his job? I think, we saw it in The Athletic. We're seeing it from the fan base. I think Cushing's leash is like super short. And if he comes out of March with 3 points, I don't know if Cushing's the head coach for April. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. I mean, realistically, that might be our best numbers, 3 points, which is scary to say, but I think that's the case.
And you know what I was thinking? I think there are two. We see this a lot in like playoff sports, right? Where it's like 1 game elimination and 2 coaches go 2 different routes. They either go super aggressive for the entire game and go, we're going to try to score as many points as possible. Who cares what happens? We see this in soccer. We see this in football a lot, right? Where you're going for it on 2-point conversions every single time. And you're like, I'm playing a super talented team, and so I'm going to do this. Or you see teams doing the opposite. They score early and they try to get really conservative. And what ends up typically happening is the more aggressive team is the team that wins. I think the problem is because of what's happened with Cushing historically, every game is a playoff game for Cushing. And I think he took, in my opinion, this game, saw the 1-0 lead and say, all right, I'm going to play more conservative here because I'm trying to keep my job. Every game is a playoff game for Cushing because I think his leash is short. And so I think he's got to go the opposite, man. Treat every game like it's a must win and do it, because you don't have I don't think Cushing has... to wait till Hovon's 25 years old to become a superstar. I think he's got to turn it around immediately if he wants to keep his job. And so treat every game as aggressive as you can, because I think that's going to be the best way for the team to win, and I think at the same time the best way for him to keep his job.
Fair points. I agree. There's not much to add. This schedule is going to be brutal. I mean, granted, we're playing a lot of home games after the Cincinnati Inter Miami game. I think we have like 4 back-to-back, 5 back-to-back. So I don't think the leash is as short as you think. I think going out of March with 3 points is bad, but then I think they look at the home span and they know these next 2 games are going to be front office, I'm saying. And they're like, hey, look, if he could get the results at home against all these other teams, then there's hope there.
But if they beat Toronto, what if they lose against Toronto?
If they lose in Toronto, I'm not doing a podcast anymore. It feels, and this is what's crazy to me. For a 4th game of the season, I might be being dramatic. It feels like a must win. Like, it feels like it. Like, and it's not a must win as in we won't make the playoffs, we don't win. But it feels like a must win as in, like, for the morale of this team, for the fans, it feels like we have to win it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a must win for Cushing, because if we lose this game, morale's going to be on an all-time low.
And the chants are going to be louder than ever.
Exactly. Walkouts, things of that sort. We've already heard rumblings of that.
There was already a petition.
Yeah. I didn't get that many signatures, though.
No, that's why it's fine.
So, but I do think that, like, he loses that game and those calls are going to be louder, and then it's like, what do we do? You know what I mean? And so I think it's a must-win for Cushing if he wants to keep his job.
Yes.
Not a must-win for us to make it to the playoffs. And because you know what's an easy way to increase morale if we lose that game? Firing Cushing. And so then it's which is sad.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. And so it's like Cushing cannot lose this game.
All right.
So we should talk about this game.
Good segue. NYCFC versus Toronto. What do we think our starting 11 is going to be for this one?
Can we talk a little bit about about Toronto though?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I think that helps set up the lineup.
All right.
Just a little bit about Toronto. It's in 5th place right now, and it has 7 points with 2 wins and 1 draw. So they have not lost the game this season, the exact opposite of us. And they have 3 clean sheets. So they haven't given up a goal yet.
And we struggle with making goals.
Yes, which is tough. And they played Cincinnati. So it's Cincinnati, the Revs, and Charlotte, which the Revs are pretty good. And Cincinnati's very good. Charlotte's okay, but we lost to Charlotte. So, Toronto...
Don't tell that to Cushing, though. We were the better team against Charlotte. If that
for
means
70
anything.
minutes, we were the better team.
No, that was against St. Louis. We were... No, I think for Charlotte.
He keeps bringing that game up.
He really feels
like... how, like, last year, it was always that Texas win?
Oh,
He would always talk about that. If we just play like the way we did in Dallas, that game happened in, like, April. He was talking about it in October.
We were the better team in Charlotte, everybody. Have faith.
Toronto was a mess last year, but they fired their coach. They got this new guy, Josh Herdman. Josh Herdman plays coach the Canada national team. And I mean, since then he's been pretty good. The team's been pretty good. The key players for Toronto, they still got Insigne. I always say his name wrong. And he's the one who scored both goals for Toronto this season.
And they were beauties. Did you see that last one against Charlotte? Whew, that was sexy.
I know. And then they still got Bernadeschi, who hasn't done much, but still a veteran.
You know what's interesting about Bernadeschi?
What?
This coach, this guy's an attacking. He's like one of the wingers. He's attacking.
Yes.
He's been putting him at back. And they've bought into this guy's system so much that he's just been accepting it for now. I don't even know how this guy's playing defense because we've seen him. He's not a defensive guy. But they've actually been having him play some left. I forget which back, but one of the back positions.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting that this guy even has bought into the system that much.
I hear they love that new coach, man.
Which is crazy because there was a lot. They were a mess last year. They didn't buy into the system at all, and you could tell.
Yes. But that's interesting. Taking
I know what
left winger and put it in my left back. He's doing well. Maybe we should do that with Wolf. Although Wolf has been playing really well
Wolf has been playing great offensively. But I don't know why you even put him back there.
I'm just saying you could have more offensive talent. Cushing is letting his backs play forward.
Yes.
So if you're letting him play forward, let Wolf play forward, but from the back position. And then you can have more talent on the wings.
Well, we might see it. Well, let's see.
We might. I mean, he loves tinkering, so tinker with that idea, please, Cushing, please. And then they signed this dude, Debut Flores, who has been doing a really great job controlling the midfield. So it's not an easy team. Sean Johnson has 2 clean sheets. The thing is, he is a little like injured.
Yeah, he got a knock. He didn't play last game.
He didn't play last game, but he wasn't on the injury report.
Oh,
so like they're like it's like day by day. So he might play, he might not play.
He might play just to, stick it to the NYCFC
Although
fan.
I think NYCFC's more mad. Fans are more mad at him than he is at us.
Yeah, I don't know. He said I'm going with Drake. I'm fine, bro.
Yeah, I think we're the ones who are like can't get over our ex.
Well, he's super lucky because this week would have been the talks. Oh, us against Sean Johnson rivalry, yeah. And now it's like Nick Cushing, we hate you. So he's lucky right now. No heat on him. But if we're doing good by the middle of the season and we face them again, we hate you, Sean Johnson.
Sean Johnson right now is ranked number 1 in saves per match with 5.5 saves.
Wow, look at
crazy.
Look at our ex doing well. I hate it. I'm gonna do a subliminal message on Twitter right now about him.
You can put up the Twitter fingers real quick.
Yeah, Twitter fingers real quick.
What are you gonna say?
I miss you. Nah, Freeze has been playing great. So our goalkeeper hasn't been our problem. So
yeah,
no complaints there. Also, Freeze's girlfriend still watches the show. These morning podcasts are a little more fun.
They are fun. We got more energy.
I think it's the coffee
I was about
talking,
to say
bro.
is that the Cafe Bustelo hits.
Seriously, I'm a little more depressed that night.
It's like, I just want to go to sleep. We're recording at 11 p.m. Right now, we're recording at 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning. Early bird wins the worm. Doesn't win soccer games, but wins the worm. Yeah, we've been off track. I think the coffee might be bad for us.
I know, we're all over the place today.
All right, starting 11.
Starting 11. I've given up on Wolf being on the left, so I don't have a left back. So I don't have him there. But I think the lineup's going to be Freeze, of course, at goalkeeper. Old Tool on the left. Martins, Burgrisa. I still want to see Tavon Gray out there, man. I know Meech's been getting the starts, but I don't know what it is. I miss Gray.
So I asked Tavon, do you feel like you're 100% to start again? Because, he had an injury, but he said, I'm getting better. And I was like, do you feel like you're 100% to start? And he said, yeah, I think I should be back. I'm ready to go. Nice. So we might see Tavon actually get more starts.
Yo, also, when you were talking to Tavon, I noticed his necklace, his chain with 24 blinged out, his number. Fly. Yo, that was fire, bro.
I asked him if he plays with it in the game. He's like, nah. I mean, he probably spent a good amount of money.
Also, that thing looks like it weighs 10 pounds.
No,
dude looks like, you know how, like, imagine if you played with it, it'd be like, in the Dragon Ball Z where they take off their clothes and then boom, it just drops. Yeah, it would be like that, bro.
You talked about so you wanted to talk about the guy from Dragon Ball Z.
I was gonna leave it in our last thing.
All right,
but if you want to talk about it now,
go move on.
Okay. Wait, did we talk about the line? Oh, okay. Pereira, Park, Santi, Wolf on the left, Bakra, and Trapito. I really want to see Trapito, man. I really hope he gets a start. I think he brings some speed. I think he could really bring the press. I want to see him out there getting that start.
Realistically, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, we haven't seen him even be a sub for some of these games, so yeah. I don't see Cushing really putting him in. I think it'll be fun. It'll be different.
So what do you think we play on the right?
Who have we been playing?
We played Jason.
I think Jason did well that he's going to have him start again.
You think so?
I think he's going to have him start again. And
so you think he's going to have the same lineup?
Yeah, if he doesn't put if Tavon's not 100, he might go same lineup. Look at the first 45 minutes. We actually played really well.
That's true.
So I could see it happening again.
I mean, it's
and
Cushing.
I don't know why I don't I don't hate Jason out there. I honestly
agree.
feel like he brings something. He's quick. He's decisive. That's one thing. We're so indecisive with the ball in the final third. At least Jason just like, all right, I'm going to toss it in. I'm going to do something. I'm going to try to shoot. He's quick. His decision making's quick. So I like Jason personally. And I know he's not the most talented, but he also works well with the press. He's constantly on playing defense. So I don't think it's a bad thing to have Jason out there.
I agree with you.
And then, but early subs, if you're going to do that, okay, let's say we're up 1-0. Go 50 minutes in the game. Get your other subs in because you already know your players are going to be gassed. If they are playing the press, they're already tired pretty quickly. So have guys sub in quick and get your more talented guys who, okay, now they could finesse these guys. Now the defense is a little tired. Now I can get past the defender because I have fresh legs and I'm more of a skilled player.
Agree. You listening to this? Take some notes.
And I don't know anything about soccer, so don't listen to me.
No, you. I think that was good. Do make that happen. Make that happen.
All right, let's get into our betting prediction. So last week I lost again. I'm 0 for 0. I'm failing horribly.
We started at $100.
We started at 100.
You made two different bets, so 2 different weeks,
So-
$25 each, and now you're down.
So
to
what
50.
was your bet?
My bet was both teams to score,
And
Last week.
so you won that bet.
and I put $50 on that.
Woo!
That was risky. So originally I was down to 75 because I lost the first bet. Made that big one, and now we're up to $113. We balling over here, Team Daniel.
Damn, I need to catch up. So I'm at $50. Lost both my bets. I had NYCFC to win, which was looking great for 85 minutes of the game. Well, actually, looking good for 45.
45 minutes.
And then the rest, I was stressed out. But if you had to make a bet this game, what are our betting lines?
So the betting gods have Toronto at plus 380, the draw at plus 280, NYCFC at negative 145. So it is favorites. But the bet that I'm going to take is the under 3.5. It's expensive.
How much?
It's negative 290.
Bro, you're going to win like a quarterback.
It's all right. It's all right. This is a marathon. It ain't a sprint. All right. We got the whole season. So I'm saying we just said Toronto has 3 clean sheets. We are not scoring great offensively. We have a great goalkeeper. Hopefully we tighten things up on defense. No way there's going to be 4 goals in this game. I'm betting $50 on the 3.5, the under 3.5.
Fair. I like it. That's a solid bet. Wait, if Sean Johnson's back plus Matt Freese, you got a goalkeeper matchup. Not bad. I mean, I would like to see more goals, but
I would like it too. I like to see a 3-0 game. That would be fantastic.
I'm going back. We talked about it. This feels like a must win. I know it's not a must win, but it feels like it. NYCFC to win straight up. And I probably will lose again. But I'm still going with that bet for $25.
$25.
Yeah, I'm being cheap and I'm scared. I don't want to lose all my money.
All right. I think that's everything we have to talk about for that game.
I think we're done. Any final words?
Final words. I think we touched on it before, but our boy Akira Toriyama died, the creator of Dragon Ball Z. And I was really sad about that, actually. I remember when it was on Cartoon Network under Toonami.
Oh, yeah, Toonami was sick.
Between Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Those were my shows. 5 o'clock. I could not wait. And I remember when we used to go to like Colombia and then they would be like forward. They had the Magic Blue Saga.
They had all the Fly episodes on that one because you were ahead in that series in Colombia. I don't know why that was.
I don't know. You know, America. They're like, I don't know, it's too violent or some nonsense like that. I'm not really sure why they kept it out, but I remember I watched that same like Frieza and Vegeta saga like 50,000 times because they just kept repeating the saga over and over and not giving us the new episodes. And I'm just sad, man. I'm really sad. I think like Dragon Ball Z had a huge cultural influence in the world, but I think it really touched like the Bronx. Like I think there's a lot of kids who grew up watching television, and Dragon Ball Z raised you a little bit. And I remember when the the Dragon Ball, like, you know, the shirts that were like this.
Yeah.
Were out, and then they would have like animated characters.
Oh,
Everyone had a
yes.
Dragon Ball Z one, man.
Yo, those are things we should bring them back, bro. You should wear it for an episode. We should have wore it for this episode. That would have been sick.
Do you have like a Dragon Ball Z like memory that you're like, man, that really sticks with me?
Just Gohan training in the what was it? With Goku? What the hell?
The hyperbolic
hyperbolic chamber, dude. Gohan was the best. I must say, Gohan fighting Cell was the best, bro.
That was a really
that
good.
was the greatest fight sequence ever, and I've been a huge Gohan fan, so that was my.
I think, at least for me, I know you didn't ask, but I'm gonna tell you anyways.
Yeah.
Just recently, I actually had this experience where, like, 3 years ago, I have a daughter named Hayden. You know that, of course. But for the team, I have a daughter named Hayden, and we went to go see the Dragon Ball Z superhero movie. And it was like her first time watching Dragon Ball Z. I took her to the Alamo in Yonkers, so then she always had food because she only was 7 years old at the time, and kids can't sit down for 2 hours. And she was like so in love with it. Like she was just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And to be able to like share that experience with her was just like, wow, this is like why it's so cool, like being a parent. And that came from watching Dragon Ball Z, I feel is like gonna stick with me forever. So
wow, beautiful.
So,
clap it up,
stop.
clap it up. What a nice
but rest
message.
in peace.
Rest
Akira
in peace.
Toriyama. I think you impacted a lot of lives, especially us Bronx kids. So appreciate everything.
Appreciate that. And are we gonna show up early to next game?
I think so. That'd be cool. Let's give out some more stickers.
We're gonna see if we try to give out more stickers. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. You guys been watching a lot.
Yes.
We appreciate that, sharing, all that good stuff.
Like, comment, subscribe, everything you're supposed to say at the end of an episode.
Peace.
Peace.